Hello and welcome back to the another episode of Daily News Analysis for UPSC 2025. It is 7th August today and we are going to discuss these 7 important articles which were in the Hindu newspaper. Every day we upload two videos on this YouTube channel. In the first one we discuss the daily news analysis. We try to find out the most important articles which are relevant for your exam and try to break them into the simplest language possible so that it would be easy for you to understand the topic, and you can track down the points which will pile up your preparation. And also in the evening session we upload another video in which we discuss the daily quiz, in that video we discuss the questions related to the current affairs so that it will give you an idea how the questions could be framed from current affairs and also help you revise your current affairs in the best way. And also we discuss few previous year questions in that video so that it will give you the proper idea how the questions do come in the exam and what should be your approach while solving those questions. Now, before we start our discussion of today's news analysis, I would first like to request you guys, please do subscribe the channel and share it with your friends so that they may also get benefited. And also when you subscribe the channel, it gives us the energy to work much harder on this initiative and give the best information possible. It motivates us when you subscribe. And I would like to request you guys, please do stay with me till the end of the video. Usually what students do, you will skip it after watching for 1 or 2 minutes because you are not habitual of any new YouTube channel. Maybe you are watching from any other platform. So I request you guys, please do stay with me. Maybe the way I will explain these topics would be more understandable for you guys. So please stay with me and share it with your friends. Now, without any delay, let's look at the topics which we have to discuss today. The first one, it is about the UP's stringent anti-conversion law, the amendments they had proposed in the anti-conversion law of 2021. So we will discuss this with respect to the need of the time, why these laws could be questioned in the courts, and why the opposition parties call it draconian laws. After that, we will discuss about the Bangladeshi students ask Yunus to lead now. The conditions right now in the Bangladesh. We will discuss with respect to that what are the improvements in the conditions of the Bangladesh. What are the recent developments with regards to the Bangladesh. We will discuss that and what would be its impact on the India. After that, we will discuss in detail about the center which they issued the norms for organ transplant, the norms related to the transportation of the organs for the transplant. We will discuss it with respect to that. After that, we will discuss the need for caste census after the Supreme Court judgment recently about the subcategorization of the of the costs in the scheduled costs. After this, we will discuss about the research related to this artificial sugar, which can be substituted in the which can substitute the table sugar and help the diabetes patients. After this, we will discuss about the two major articles which were in the editorial section, relate to the India's aim to 30 trillion economic point and what India should do while achieving this. And also we will discuss about the counting the poor having nutritional deficiency, how we had changed our poverty definition of the poverty from the time till now. Now, without any delay, let's look at the article one by one. The first one, it is about the UP's stringent anti-conversion law. It was the year 2021 when the UP government brought up the anti-conversion law, in which they banned the anti-conversion to any religion, and they had brought up certain provisions. For example, there would be you know there would be penalties if this anti-conversion is found. For example, 1 year jail term for an accused, and which can go maximum to 5 years, and the fine for him was 15,000. Similarly, for if a woman is involved, for a woman, child, or any minor is involved in this, he is any woman, child, or minor, or or scheduled caste or scheduled tribes are forced to convert, then for the accused, the crimes would have been, penalty was increased, was different. It was, 2 to 10 years of jail term, and also 25,000. Similarly, there were different provisions in that, in the anti-conversion law of the 2021, which was brought up the UP government. This was, highly criticized by the people, by the critics, because they thought this can be easily misused. And there were few provisions in that, because even having those provisions, it was still misused. For example, who should had complained about this anti-conversion of the anti-conversion accusations, who should have complained? In the act, in the law, it was, itself, it was written that only the blood relations of the person should, complain with respect that. For example, if I am the person and I am, you know forced to convert, my blood relations or me can go to the police station and complain against that. But still, after having this law, third parties got involved, right wing mentality people got involved, and they used to file the complaints, and without, and the police used to file those FIRs. But right now the UP has proposed the new amendment to it, which is called the, UP Prohibition of Unlawful Conversion of Religion Amendment Bill 2024. This, this will alter the original 2021 anti-conversion law by making its provisions more draconian and susceptible to the misuse. These provisions can be misused by the anti-elements of the society. They can be misused against a particular religion. So this is the core discussion about it, and let's see what are the provisions which they had brought up in this amendment law. The first, we should know that why was the amendment proposed. What was the reason cited that this amendment is necessary? It is said that, there had been anti-national elements in working in the UP, and some foreign contributions, which has led to these forced conversions in that particular state. So because of that, there is an it is needed that the it should be more stringent as possible, as they can make it. So why it has been brought, why this amendment has been brought out? Because there were allegations that foreign contributions are working there, anti-national, anti-national elements are there. So this is necessary to make it more tough for them to convert anybody, to force anybody to convert any another religion. So it was about why it has been proposed. What about the penalties introduced in it? Earlier, it was for the for it for earlier, minimum prison term of 1 year was there, and which could have been raised to 5 years, and also fine was 15,000. Now the proposed is, the minimum term of jail is 5 years, which could, which could lead to maximum 10 years, and the fine for this is 50,000. For and second, for woman, minor, or a person belonging to SC and ST, the penalty has been increased from 2 to 10 years to 5 to 14 years jail term, and also 25,000 to 1 lakh fine. So these are some provisions which had been changed with respect to the penalties. And also in this amendment, it introduced new two categories of offense. For example, newly added subsection to section 5 mandates a prison term of 7 years, extendable to 14 years for anyone who secures foreign funds from illegal institutions for the purpose of unlawful conversion. For example, if any person is securing funds from the foreign, or and doing this illegal, or from any illegal institution for the purpose of unlawful conversion, for them the prison term has been extended to 14 years, and also for them fine has been extended to 10 lakh rupees. And another, new category which has been introduced is that the accused, if the person has been assaulted, there is the fear of life or property, that and and the force is used for him to convert to another religion. For such person, for punishment would be minimum 20 years imprisonment, which can extend to the life imprisonment. So categorically, if we look at this new amendment to the anti-conversion law, it is definitely going against the conversion of people. It can be misused, misled by money entities. About the who can register this complaint, earlier it was only the blood relations of the person. For example, only for of the aggrieved person, for example his parents, his brother, sister, or his wedded relationships, or he has any adoption, something like that. Those can only file the cases. But right now they had brought the amendment that any third party can file the complaint against such conversions, and this leads to the misuse of the law. If anybody will convert of his own will, so the third party, any right wing mentality people will go to the police station and file the complaint against them, and drag them into the courts without any specific reason. And also why it is very much dangerous, because of the bail possibility. For this crime of the anti-conversion, they had made the bail identical to the provisions of money laundering act. They it is the duty of the accused to show that he is not guilty, not the one who is, not the one who is arresting them or who is complaining against them. So it makes very much difficult for them to get the bail, and this makes this law very much draconian. So with respect to this law, it will definitely go to the higher courts. We will see what the courts would give the decision regarding this law. Courts will study it with respect to the freedom of the religion, and definitely we will expect justice from the court with respect to these laws. So it was about the UP's stringent anti-conversion law. What are the provisions they had brought in with respect to the fine, with respect to the bail, with respect to who can register the complaints. So I hope I was able to discuss this in a proper way, and I hope I was able to make you understand this topic. And please do write in the comments if I'm going too fast, and so that I can improve my way of speaking. Moving forward to the another article of today's discussion, it is about the Bangladeshi student ask Yunus to lead now. Right now the condition in Bangladesh is very volatile. We had seen how Sheikh Hasina, she fled from the country after the resignation. We had seen the protests in Bangladesh. We had seen aftermath of the Sheikh Hasina's resignation, how people were celebrating there. We had seen how the students, or we can say protesters, went to the official residence of the of the Sheikh Hasina, and how they vandalized her property. We had seen everything. We have the pictures everywhere. And there are some complaints that there are cases of communal violations, against minorities. There is hatred towards minorities in certain areas. And also, the country in nutshell, the country is in very uh, volatile situation, and it does impact its neighboring countries, especially India. We have huge trade in textiles with the Bangladesh right now. If and right now we had suspended all the trade, all the connectivity with Bangladesh, especially rail and road connectivity. So it does have a huge impact on our economy also, because our trade in textiles, if it goes down, if it stops right now, it will definitely lead to high demand and less, मतलब कि जब delivery कम हो और demand ज़्यादा हो जाएगी, it will lead to the inflation, and it will definitely impact our country also. So right now we are in a situation where we have to deal with many things. And also we are hosting Sheikh Hasina in our country, and it can lead to the hatred for in the Bangladesh towards India also, because it is very much natural, because we are hosting the prime minister who is culprit for all this unrest in that country. So it can definitely give rise to the hatred towards our country also. And also, if we will see what the political scenario right now is in the Bangladesh, because they had freed many opposition leaders, especially the Khalida Zia section. And we know about the Khalida Zia section, her her approach towards India. She is very much anti-India. And we have also seen, you know as she belongs to the Bangladesh National Party, her approach towards India is very anti-national and pro-Pakistan. So we cannot right now afford you know another Pakistan in our neighborhood. We cannot afford that. And also there are some claims that the condition in Bangladesh might be because of the foreign, foreign countries interests there. They had interfered in the Bangladesh. It is accused, right now there are some allegations against Pakistan. They had interfered into the internal matters of the Bangladesh, because there were, some of the officials from Pakistan had, changed their profile pictures in support of the Bangladeshi movement right now. So everything is going on. Everything is very much volatile in the country. And with respect to that, there are some developments, as we had seen with respect to the Bangladeshi president Muhammad Salahuddin. He dissolved the 12th parliament, and he promised that the fresh elections to be held very soon. And we also knew that there was a meeting with the opposition leaders, army general, and the students leaders who were participating in the protest. And the student leaders, they had proposed a Nobel laureate, Nobel Peace Prize winner Muhammad Yunus you know to lead the country right now. It is their it is their proposition. It is what they proposed. And also we had seen the head of the main opposition party, which is a Bangladeshi National Party, the Khalida Zia. She has been released. And there would be talks, there would be new elections which would be held. And country, this would have high impact on our foreign policy also. And also the hatred towards minorities in certain areas, we had seen the pictures of that. But we also saw the pictures that former army, we had seen the pictures in many locations where leaders from the Bangladesh National Party, and other political parties were seen standing guarding in front of the Hindu temples to protect them from political attacks. We had also seen the impact of, in the last class we saw the impact of the Jamaat Islami. And today we saw in the newspaper that former army brigadier general Abdullah Aman Azim, the second son of late Jamaat Islami leader Ghulam Azam, was released, along with the Mir Ahmad Qasim, the younger son of the executed Jamaat Islami leader Mir Qasim Ali, was also released. So it is definitely showing that the country's it is moving towards pro China. It is moving towards the pro Pakistan. And it will definitely haunt India as a nation, because we can't afford more refugees from that country right now, because of the refugee crisis already existing in our country. We can't afford terrorism from that side of the country. We can't afford that. So it is very critical for India also to start dialoguing with all these potential leaders of that country. For example, especially with the Khalda Zia, with the president of the country, and with the army generals of the country. We have to secure our place with Bangladesh. We have to show that the friendly willingness of our country towards them. It is not in the geopolitics. It is not about how strong you are. It is not about that. Even a smallest country can haunt you. Even though we can outrun Bangladesh within few days, but still the strategic importance of Bangladesh is very important for us. And their willingness to cooperate with India is much important for India than going for any any activity which can harm us in future. So what is the point of this discussion? That what India's approach should be? India should start talks with the proposed leaders, and with the with the respect to the with the first, India should start talks with the coming with the proposed leaders of the country. India should show the friendliness and ready to ready to ready to cooperate with them. At the second hand, अगर हम दूसरी तरीके से by seeing it with respect to the Sheikh Hasina, अगर हम what are her what is the developments with respect to her? We had seen she had approached UAE and Saudi Arabia also for the for the asylum. It is very less likely that yesterday we saw that she asked UK for the asylum, and it is very likely that the UK will grant them the asylum. And now she had also approached the USA and UAE and Saudi Arabia for the asylum. So we will see more discussions would be with respect to that. So I hope I made this article very much clear to you. We saw different developments in the Bangladesh and how it can impact India. It can how the trade with India has been suspended right now, and how it can impact the economy of our country, and what are the how the government should deal with this situation. We should like in the Maldives, when we had that conflict with Maldives last year, our as a countryman, as a citizen of our country, we are very much attached to our country. Any sort of any sort of insult towards our country, we cannot tolerate that. But if we have to understand the broader concept of what benefits your country, then we have to be very much rational, we have to be very much realistic, and we have to be very much patient. Right now we are seeing that there are some clashes against the minorities. We should not totally boycott Bangladesh right now. We should go for the big brothers policy, which should be like that. India should talk with the Bangladeshi leaders, secure its friendship, and show the interests of the corporation who are the government would come. It is for our benefit, rather than rather than taking such terms which can harm our country itself. We cannot afford right now that Bangladesh will turn towards Pakistan or China. It will never go good with India. So right now it is our duty to secure this position, and so our officials should work on that in a best way possible. And the citizens of our country should not highlight the hatred towards Bangladesh right now, because it would definitely go against our benefits. So this is the core discussion of this article. Now moving forward to the another article, it talks about the central issues norms of organ transplant in India. Organ transplant is one of the major scientific advancement in the present world right now. With respect to that, the Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, they had issued a set of guidelines for the transportation of living human organs. This life these are the life-saving organs from the point of harvest where to destination through effective use of available infrastructure. About the Transportation of Human Organs and Tissues Act 1994, it allowed harvesting of organs from living donors or brain dead patients when the family consent is there. And it was allowed to transport from one hospital to another by air or road. And by this, the proposed norms for organ transplant in India, what the government has allowed that the transport from the standard operation procedure issued on Monday will serve as a guiding document for healthcare institutions in states and UTs to transport organs by various modes of transport, including metro trains and over water boats. So this standard operation procedure, which was issued on Monday, it will serve as a guiding document for healthcare institutions in states and UTs to transport organs for various from by various modes of transportation, and in it metro trains and waterways were also added. And also in this the transportation of these organ transplants can happen only within the country. It can't go over above the territory of India, मतलब कि इंडिया के बाहर हम ऐसे ट्रांसप्लांट नहीं कर सकते. And also if we are transporting organs by air, then there are some norms to be followed by the authority. First, they should only screen the box in which the organs are, no, and not open it, because अगर वो open करेंगे then it can damage the organ and damage the two person, one who had who had uh, allowed it to transport, another one who is going to have this organ. So it won't be allowed to open it, but they can only screen this organ. So these were few norms which were issued by central government about the organ transplant in India. Now moving forward to the another article of today's discussion. It is based on the cost based census. you know we saw on the 2nd August when we discussed our daily current news analysis. In that we saw that the Supreme Court judgment, a 7-judge bench of the Supreme Court in the majority judgment of 6-1 gave the statement that states can subclassify SCs for quotas, in which the Supreme Court said that states have the right to subclassify scheduled castes notified in the presidential list to provide them more preferential treatment. And also, referring to the Indira Sahni case, the Chief Justice said in this case how it has held it is constitutional to classify the backward classes into more backward classes. Similarly, we can use it in the caste sense, in this scheduled castes, as these castes are more scheduled caste and more scheduled caste, like that. Like we see in the backward classes, these more backward class, similarly that can be applied here. So with respect to that, the different parties have different take about BJP. They had not commented on this yet. In the Congress, which is the opposition right now, there are some difference of opinions with respect to the judgment. There are few sections which are supporting the judgment of the Supreme Court, and there are few sections in the Congress itself they are opposing the judgment of the Supreme Court. So with respect to that, there was a meeting held between the Congress president, leader of opposition, and the chairperson of the party, and top lawyers of the party, and they were going to discuss what should be their they will discuss what should be their take on the judgment. So with respect to this, there is definitely a need for the nationwide cost census, which the party is asking for, that if we are going to go for the subcategorization of costs, there is need for the cost census right now in the country. We had seen of the general census itself from 2011, there has been no census in our country. So with respect to the cost census also, there should be the cost census to go for the subcategorization of STs. And also there is a need to remove the cap of 50% ceiling on reservation, which was given in the Indira Sahni judgment itself. So this 50% ceiling should be removed by the Constitutional Amendment Amendment Act. So these are some proposed, some proposals given by the opposition here, given by the experts here, that there is need for the nationwide cost census, and there is need to remove the cap of 50% ceiling on reservation, because definitely when there would be when they will go for subcategorization, more costs will be added in it, so more reservations would be given. It will definitely break this ceiling, so there is need for removing the cap of 50% ceiling on reservation. With respect to that, I hope this was very small article. There only few points which were needed, which could be related to your preparation, where we discussed them. Now let's move to the another article of today's session. It talks about the use of sucralose as sugar substitute helps diabetes. uh, if we will go back to the what WHO's claim was with respect to the artificial sugar. They said that it is not going well with the non-diabetics. People should avoid the artificial sugar. So with respect to that, there was Dr. Mohan. He was the chairman of the Madras Diabetic Research Foundation. He led the study, and in it he led the study, and he saw that replacing table sugar with artificial sweetener in coffee and tea found no adverse impact on glucose levels, and in fact indicated a slight improvement in body weight, waist circumference, and body mass index. It was 12-week randomized controlled trial. It was published in Diabetes Therapy. The report. This report came after the WHO warned non-diabetics about use of sweeteners. You know, this Dr. V. Mohan, chairman of the Madras Diabetics Research Foundation, he led the study. He said it has no such impact. In fact, it showed positive results, and also the way sugar is used in West and in India is different. How the dietary plan is related to the sugar in India and the West are different. So the impact of using the artificial sugar is different in India. So it showed the research showed that if replacing the table sugar, which is sucrose, or table sugar with artificial sweetener, which is sucralose, it can in fact impact in a better way in the diabetic patients. It had, there has no such increase, no such impact on the glucose level, which is the primary indicator of the diabetes. So by using such sugars, artificial sugar, there has been no such impact on this on the glucose level. But also it has shown improvements in body weight. There has been a reduction in body weight. Waist circumference has been impacted in a better way, and body mass index has been impacted. So what is the conclusion of this research, this study? That sucralose as a sugar substitute can help the diabetic patients, and it can be a replacement for the sugar, to add the sweetener in their dietary foods, because usually the sugar patients, diabetic patients, they try to avoid the sugar. They compromise with their taste, so they can still use this sucralose and enjoy the taste with the help of artificial sugar, while they can eliminate the table sugar. So this is the core concept of this article. Moving forward to the another article of today's discussion, it is about the powering up to go to 30 trillion economy. We should know that India, being the fastest growing large economy, and it is said that the 21st century belongs to India. And for us, the economic growth is very much inevitable. But we should understand one thing: the conditions right now India is enjoying, same conditions were enjoyed by many countries, but they had failed. So why did they fail? We should understand that, and we should try to avoid that failure, and move fast towards the proposed 30 trillion economy by 2047. For that we need a rapid economic growth, and for that we need more liberal economic policies, and we have to harness private sector in it. And with respect to that, we have to ignore one thing. Usually in our country it is said that we have inequitable growth, that the rich are enjoying much money and the poor are enjoying very less of the economy. This is going to happen in the country if we are uh, if we have to reach to this 30 trillion economy. If we will see the condition, let's see, before the, it is blamed that after the liberalization the rich had achieved much and the poor has very less. There has been inequitable growth. There is inequality in the growth. But let's look at the conditions before the liberalization. For example, if we look at the economic growth tool for poverty elevation from independence till 1991, we had seen a poverty rate was 50%. Despite there were socialistic policies, there were the welfare policies, but still the poverty rate was 50%. After the liberalization of 1991 to 2011, the poverty rate fell to 20%, and also 35 crore people came out of the poverty. So it is definitely an indication that even though India is more unequal, the inequality has increased, but still this is the point of discussion. Inequality has increased, but the question here is more Indians more Indians had got better than before. More Indian The economic conditions of more Indians is better now than it was before. It is 100% correct. So as right now we are, what are the ways we can achieve this ambitious target of 30 trillion by 2047? What are the things which we can do? For example, right now we are enjoying the 950 million youth in our country, but unfortunately the female participation is very less. That is, only half of our country is working. So we have to give emphasis, we have to emphasize on more participation of women in the working field. We have to work on the manufacturing sector. We have to invest in the manufacturing sector. We have to try to bring people out of the informal sector towards the formal sector. We have to invite foreign investment much more in it. Right now we have to ignore these economic inequalities according to the article and focus on the growth itself, because by growth itself we can if we will grow to that level, it will definitely our people will come out of the poverty, and definitely the condition of our people will get better. So this was about this article. It is very controversial article. So this is what we need to know about this article. Why it is controversial? Because it focuses on that economic inequality should not be focused, but right now the condition is different. Understanding of people, understanding of economy is different. So if a country does not work according to few, country does not work only because of few people. We have to include everyone in it. We have to take care of everyone. We have to be the welfare state because of the directive policies of our country. So this is very much controversial article. We should know that if such questions do come in the exam, we should be able to write the answer according to the requirements of the questions. Moving forward to the last article of today's discussion, it talks about the counting the poor having nutritional deficiencies. Earlier, what was the method of defining poverty? It was totally based on the income. But different committees came. For example, Tendulkar committee that also focused on the income, but further income of the individual. Then the committees came which focused on the calorific values. So with respect to that, the intake of the calorific values of a person, that defines the poverty of the people. So with respect to that, the National Sample Survey Office released a detailed report based on the Household Consumption and Expenditure Survey of 2022-23. In this household consumption and expenditure survey, collected data on the quantities of various food items consumed by the households during the specified reference period and the total value of consumption of different food and non-food items. The analysis uses the information to convert the quantities of food consumed, convert the quantities of consumed food items into their total calorific values. What is the approach of the measurement? This analysis addresses two key issues: one, how to define poor, and second, measurement aspect of the nutritional value. So with respect to that, it gives us the proper definition which we have right now in our country. What constitutes the poor? What should be the calorific value a person should consume? Average calorific value a person should consume to be so that he will not come below the poverty line. If his consumption is very less than the average, then he is definitely below the poverty line. And what are the measures to be brought in to get them out of that poverty line? And also this method defined defined what poor should be, and how they uh, how these quantities of calorific values are measured. And it gave the new direction to the definition of the poverty from the totally which was based on the income of the person to the calorific value, to the calories he is intaking per day. so it gave the different direction to the poverty. So it by this multi-poverty index, it defined the multi-poverty index, different ways a poverty can be defined, like how much he spends on health, how much he spends on education, and how much intake he is taking. So there are different ways by which it had defined the poverty, and basically it helped us to get away from that very confined definition of the poverty, which was the basic income of the person. So this was about the counting the poor having nutritional deficiencies. So with this, I conclude today's discussion. I hope I was able to make these articles very clear to you. Please do write in the comments if any change I need to bring in my teaching style. I will definitely work on that. And please also subscribe the channel and share it with your friends. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you very much.